It's my show now.
Okay.
Okay, so what's going to happen?
Okay, I'm going to film you.
Right, I want to film him. Where are you going?
Actually, I'm going to film as well.
Can I be the director of this?
Well, as long as you listen to what am I, the creator?
Yeah.
Right,
So I'm just giving them a big
I
intro
want you
as
to
a
start
thing.
on the-
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I also want you to then go to making the actor.
Of course, I'll film this. Is that okay? Is that
Yeah.
Wait. 1, 2, 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Neil Davidson!
Thank you very much. It's nice to see such a big audience. Oh, by the way, never work and drink. And the funny thing is, because I'm not actually in my show, I'm in Mark's show, and didn't know I was getting invited to do a little spot. I've actually had half. That's my trick.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it tasted good.
I've had half a pint, but it's only 4.1%. Very careful to monitor strength. Now, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to cut. That's a film term, just to make sure that your phone is hearing me. How do you know?
Trust me.
He was a boy there, yeah.
I'll kill you if it's not. Okay, so now I've got 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
3 minutes left. And I don't like this. I'm going to do the Frank Sinatra one.
Oh, yeah.
Big fan, actually. My uncle, who went to Eton, which is the finest school in Great Britain, probably the finest school in the world, most of the best heroin addicts and communist spies have come from there. But he ended up being acquitted for running a brothel on the King's Road. And but he still, still talked like this, blah blah blah. And why did I mention him? I mentioned him. Oh, he introduced karaoke to Great Britain. Reached the failed house boy, brought it to Britain, and did it round pubs. And he loved Frank Sinatra, so he actually thought, well, not only am I introducing the technology, but I might as well be the product. And he'd go around pubs. I used to see him like terrible impersonations of Frank Sinatra. It's just no qualms, no shyness at all. And the sad thing was that it didn't work, and it was like about 3 years later that karaoke took off, and he didn't benefit from it at all. Anyway, he did end up very sadly, no money, in a sort of derelict, semi-derelict house, and I went to see him, and he was clearly dying. And as I left, after I'd been to the newsagent and gotten a pack of fags and a bottle of wine, and it was fine. And I was just going out the door, and I heard him call from the living room, "That's right, fuck off!" Well, fuck off! It was very touching. It was lovely. Very good. Now, that wasn't my show. This is my show. This is my show here. The underwater television repairman. Can you see that? The underwater television repairman was a friend of my father's. Now, I would say 62% of that is true. He was not an underwater television repairman. He was a retired television repairman, and he used to supply my father with £5 televisions, like maybe once every few years. Like, because he worked in a television shop, and after he retired, the television shop would still give him the old broken models. He'd mend them, and he'd sell them for, like, he obviously couldn't think what else to do with his life. He was quite happy pottering about. And for £5 or he'd £20 these days, no more.
Yeah.
And I only met him once. My dad happened to take me once to get a new telly. And Frank was perfection. He was normality personified. To start with, he was a baby boomer, so he got healthcare, a pension, all the things that we drool about these days. And he had a lovely front lawn, he had a semi-detached house. In the Midlands, he was dull. Very important in the Midlands to be dull. If you're in the south, I'm from the Midlands, so I can joke about it. It's not racist. So if you come from the south of England, you're like some tedious, loud-mouthed, rich yob. If you come from the north of England, you're like a sheep herder farmer thing, with extreme views. Like if you think of all the Yorkshire's a huge county geographically, and there is a strange attitude in Yorkshire you get elsewhere, you don't get elsewhere. It's like a country of its own, and loads of strange men have come from, and they're very arrogant, and you can't change their mind. Jeff Boycott, the famous cricketer, Jimmy Savile, of course. There's loads of them. I've actually read, sorry to mention them, but there are loads of them, and they're just so funny. Not Jimmy Savile, but a lot of them, I don't think so. I think they'll do it my way.
Yeah.
They're like that. So, and it probably comes from being a farmer up on the dales, the hills,
Right.
and you don't deal with people normally, so you've got no social etiquette. Now, on that note, I still haven't done any of my show because I just warble. But I think that's the 5 minutes up. Social etiquette, I have none. Goodbye.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Davidson!
So, how am I going to get that film?
I might
How are you
add.
going to top that?
What's that?
How are
Yeah,
you
it's going to
gonna
be
top
hard to
that?
top that.
Yeah, me too.
I might note though that Yob is boy spelled backwards, so that might be something people can
How am I
use.
going to get that?
That leapt right
I
out
need
of
a
me.
verb. I need a verb.
Wasn't Rishi Snack from Yorkshire as well?
Send it to.
I don't know. I don't really
It's
follow.
not
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, and I can get it to you. We're going to be here together till the end of the month.
And Madam, were you filming me as well?
I was.
Right, so you
Oh,
need
a
to send it
second
to Mark
angle.
as well.
A second
Okay.
angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end, give me the number
Yeah.
and I'll buy you a pint.
You didn't realize we were all technicians in this. It's a spontaneous show. That's what happens. You reminded me of a story in my family. My father had an aunt named Agnes who was so bitter and unpleasant to people that no one ever visited her. And
Was she Norwegian?
she was Norwegian, as a matter of fact. How did you know? There's a certain stubborn thing famous in Norway. And so Aunt Agnes was in an old folks' home. And like after 25 years, my dad's like, oh, we gotta visit Agnes, right? I mean, she's a human, right? Like, yeah, she's a pill, she's unpleasant, but let's just go visit her. And he went to visit her, and the first thing she said was, "You've gained weight." And then she's like, "Where have you been? It's been 25 years, you prick." So then he left, and the world returned to its balance, and she was ignored as she needed to be. But I have to admire the gumption, like the sheer commitment to the bit of after 25 years insulting the first person who agrees to talk to
She's
you.
from Yorkshire.
Yeah, well, you made me think of that, for sure. Let's see how we're doing on time. I don't want to go over with the show. So it's 5:24. We're half an hour in. I'm going to do a quick bit of Lurid Palindrome history. But before I do, does anyone have a sticking point they want some help with, some tutoring?
Verbs.
Verbs, yeah? Verbs are good.
Verbs.
What do you got?
So I've got Mimi, which is the name of that dog,
Yes.
and Abba.
Yeah.
I listed,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to find
Well,
it.
spit is a verb right there, right? But then you need tips,
Yeah.
right? Spit, tips, knit, stink,
So,
right?
yeah,
Right?
so that's
Right,
what it is.
Oh, yeah.
But I think what you're looking for is a verb that is itself a palindrome that you can pop into the middle, right? There's some good formulas, some kind of standard palindromic things. I say as I blank.
Oh.
So that's got a verb in it, and it's an own palindrome. So if you have a palindromic pair like spit and tips, you can say tips. I say as I spit.
I get
Right?
it.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing. Another one is comma, sides reversed is blank.
Okay.
So that's kind of straightforward. It doesn't really add any meaning. But if you have two things, you can always use that. Let's see. In Spanish, what is it? Al revés se verla.
Oh.
Yeah, but unless you're doing Spanish, that's not going to help you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I think we've got
So, yeah, I actually have a cheat sheet that I didn't get around to printing yet. This is only the second
Oh,
show.
now you
And
say
I
it.
do have a
Yeah,
column
yeah,
with a
yeah.
list of things you can pop into the center.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, well, that's a couple,
Yeah,
right?
that's good, that's
right?
good.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did you have any questions or
No,
sticky
it's
points? Okay, how about you, sir?
I'm just, I'll listen at some point.
Fair enough, fair enough. But remember, the more ridiculous, the better, really, as a general rule. Okay. All right, let's do one quick bit of lurid palindrome history. Who would like to spin the wheel of fortune?
I'd love to.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. Oh, yeah.
Three?
Three.
Do we read that as a three?
Three,
Okay,
yeah.
three. Oh, so Tades the Obscene, inventor of palindromes. Good choice. So, none of his palindromes have survived, but the Romans tell us that the man who invented palindromes was known as Sotades the Obscene, a Greek, culturally Greek person from Greece, or from Thrace, or Maronea. The stories differ. He lived in Alexandria, Egypt around 280 BCE, and he was executed for a rather rude but amusing joke that he made. Are you guys okay with
yeah.
racing material? Okay. Let me click on this. Okay, so that is the other. My whole show about ancient coins came out of researching Sotades the Obscene.
Wow.
Because I was Googling him, and then he was executed by this royal couple, Queen Arsinoe and Ptolemy Philadelphus.
That's a lot of text.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing any text for Sotades. I guess it's just me talking. Okay, so Sotades the Obscene, he invented pornography and palindromes. How's that for a CD, right? Yeah. Why he is not a more famous hero, I don't know. Only a few, like, he was so wrong that all of the things he wrote have been destroyed. But we have lists of the name of it. He rewrote the entire Iliad by Homer in his own meter, the Sotadian meter. And he was also very queer. So there was this group in ancient Alexandria, and then later in other parts of the Roman and Greek world, who dressed up as women. It's very tempting to think of them as drag queens, but it was so long ago, I hate to overstretch an analogy, but they had like a slang, an argot, not unlike Polari. You know, Polari, the sailor carny argot of Britain in the 1940s and 50s. Julian and Sandy on Round the Horn were characters who spoke in Polari. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, anyway. Morrissey's, you know Morrissey.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of his album titles are in Polari, like Bona Drag is Polari. It was very popular in the gay subculture years and years ago. There's a plug up here. Yeah, throw it in here. So Tades was really outrageous, generally loved by women, not so much by the men in there. He's very gender transgressive. Ancient Greece, even though we think of it as kind of a queer society, was actually very constricted with gender roles. Women mostly were not allowed to leave the house, which is why there was so much open homosexuality. Like, you gotta bone somebody, right? No women around, so yeah, have a seat. Oh, I'm sorry. So it was really wild that men would dress up as women. That was really outrageous. And then he wrote poetry in their slang, in their argot, the Polari of ancient Greece. So, how he came to his end was he was very popular. We think Queen Arsinoe really liked him, and she was an amazing character. She was queen of 3 different countries. She was the daughter